Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our live session today. My name is Larissa. I'm an event planner at Reactor, joining you from Brazil. Before we start, I have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. The session is being recorded and will be available to view on demand here on the Reactor YouTube channel within 48 hours. Keep an eye on the chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions. I will now turn it over to our speakers for today. Thank you all, and let's welcome Johan and Ingvar.
Hello, everyone.
Hey there, Edgar. Yeah, I think we just got kicked straight on the air without any introduction.
Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you for. I think.
Edgar, you're muted.
Okay. I hope now you will hear my voice.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you for joining this 2026
And now you're muted again. I think we have some technical issues. All right. For now, I think we have me speaking, and we are doing the Power BI Data Analyst getting certified. And now let's see, Elgar, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I can introduce myself, but I hear another voice, just that's the problem. Okay, let me try to do my best. Okay, once again, welcome everyone. My name is Ilgar Zarbaliev. I'm Microsoft Data Platform MVP and Microsoft Fabric super user. My professional work focuses on Power BI, data modeling, technical training, and community activities. And I'm passionate about helping learners connect certification topics with practical business scenarios. Johan?
All right, yes. So let's switch. We're just trying to find out what the echo problem was. But yes, hi, my name is Johan. So I lead the data and AI in a company in Norway called Enora. I'm also Microsoft Data Platform MVP. And as you can see, I'm old. So I've been working with data for a while, long while. And I do help people both organizing events, speaking at events, and so forth. And today, Igor and I will guide you through the core concepts of the PL-300 exam. So looking at the objectives, how to do some practical scenarios, and how you can apply that into the projects as well. So looking forward to this. Before moving into the content, though, I'd like to highlight the wider Data Days experience. So we are part of 60 days of data and AI powered by the community. And it is much more than just a single online session. So it's a complete program with live presentations, certification preparations, study groups, practical challenges, and opportunities to connect with data professionals from around the world. So if you visit aka.ms/datadays, and that's Data Days with capital D twice, so Data Days, to explore the program. And whether you are preparing for the certification or developing your career, this is an excellent opportunity to learn with the community rather than just studying alone. And it's so much more fun to be together. Also, we are in the final week to start off the Power BI Database competition. And this is really for everyone who enjoys data visualization. So even though you might think that you can never go to win anything like this, try it. It is a great opportunity to grow and to experience what you can achieve. And it allows you to practice data storytelling and demonstrate creativity. I was part of I wasn't part, I was in the room watching the World Championship in Atlanta in March, and I can tell you that it was really awesome to see all these creative ideas that came up from the finalists. So think about just trying it out. Use that QR code, test it out, and see also how others are taking these visuals, organizing report page, and communication insights. So it is really also very tightly connected to that visualization objective inside PL-300. So I would recommend you to go to that link, so aka.ms/datawiz world-champs, and register and just try it out.
So when preparing for PL-300 exam, I strongly recommend joining a study group. As the lead of Azerbaijan Data and AI Meetup group, myself also host a study group dedicated to the PL-300 certification. And through this session, participants can review Microsoft Learn modules, discuss difficult concepts, practice exam-style questions, and share their Power BI experience. So use the link that displayed on the slide to explore the available study groups. My main recommendation is not to prepare for PL-300 by reading alone. Instead, learning the concepts, practicing them in Power BI, discussing them with others, and repeating the process. Next slide, please. Another valuable part of Data Days is its collection of contests and hands-on challenges. Practical challenges move you from passive learning to active problem solving. And this is particularly important for PL-300. So you need to understand the theory, but you must also recognize how the concepts appear in Power BI Desktop and also in Power BI Service. So challenges allow you to practice cleaning data, designing models, creating reports, and making decisions under realistic constraints. So explore the link shown on the slide and try to complete at least one hands-on challenge during Data Days. Next, please.
Right. I think now that we've gotten so far, what about people post an emoji if you are planning to take the exam? Hopefully lots of people are taking it, or I mean, if you're taking it already, that's perfect as well, of course. So Power BI has one of the most active technical communities in the world. There are local user groups, online meetups, forums, blogs, videos, and professional communities where people regularly share their knowledge. So find the right community can help you remain motivated, discover new features, and learn from real-world projects. So use the link on the slide, so that's aka.ms/dd/connect, to find communities that match your interest and location. And whether you are a beginner or an experienced Power BI professional, participating in community is one of the most effective ways to develop your skills, but also, more importantly, in my opinion, is develop your professional network. So this slide also introduces an opportunity to provide feedback directly to Microsoft product teams. So they have different user panels for Fabric IQ, and for SQL. And these panels allow users to influence future product development by sharing experiences. So if you sign up for any of these, you will get notification from time to time with an invitation to join a panel where they will, first of all, just ask you some questions, and then later on they will try to interview you. Or if you fit the criteria, you're invited to an interview is rather the way to say it. So do consider to join one of these panels, because it's a really good way to highlight or to get feedback to Microsoft directly, because they will listen to that kind of feedback. So I really want to highlight the new Fabric IQ user panel, because it's one of the most exciting new parts of Fabric. And since it's so brand new, it's getting in early allows you to influence it better. Day-to-days include sessions covering Microsoft Fabric, SQL, data engineering, analytics, AI, and certification preparation. So today's PL-300 session is one part of a much wider learning program. The sessions continue until the 6th of August and are available both live and on demand. And if you're watching this live now, you also have the moderators in chat, but if you're watching it on demand, you just have us. I do recommend bookmarking the aka.ms/dd/schedule and select the sessions that support your career and professional certification objectives. And even when your focus is Power BI, do consider attending Fabric Analytics and Data Engineering sessions, because Power BI is increasingly connected with a wider Microsoft Fabric platform.
So today's presentation is live and interactive, so please participate actively in the chat. Our moderators will help us manage your questions, comments, and discussions throughout the session. When something is unclear, please ask about it. And certification topics become easier to understand when they are connected with real business scenarios. We may not be able to answer every question immediately, but our moderators will help us identify the most important questions and maintain a useful learning environment. Next slide, please. Okay, so I would like to introduce one of our moderators, John, who is supporting today's event as a moderator and Fabric community member. He is finalist of Power BI Student Database Championship. He is analytics engineer, and also he is working at Telius as a Fabric and Power BI expert.
And I had the pleasure of meeting John in Atlanta. He's a nice guy. Hi, John. Next up, Arul Prakash Chinatambi, and he is a Microsoft Fabric super user and also an active community contributor. He works as a senior technical lead at EY, and he's a Microsoft Fabric enthusiast. And then we have Arwa Aldoud. She is a Microsoft Fabric super user. She's a BI developer, super user, and she's certified with Microsoft Fabric and with Power BI.
Okay, let's establish what you can expect from the upcoming minutes. So first of all, we'll examine a PL-300 exam from a high level and practical perspective, and you will understand the exam structure, how each topic fits into the overall Power BI workflow, and which decisions are important in data preparation, modeling, reporting, security, and governance. We'll not explore every feature in great technical depth today. Instead, we'll concentrate on concepts, trade-offs, and common exam patterns. So for more detailed content, use the resource displayed on the slide and continue practicing with Power BI Desktop and the Power BI service. So we will now begin with the main part of the presentation with an overview of Power BI and the PL-300 certification. So before preparing for any certification, it's important to understand the professional role represented by that certification. PL-300 is not simply an exam about creating charts. It represents the complete responsibilities of a Power BI data analyst, like preparing data, developing a reliable model, creating useful reporting experiences, and managing content securely. So Keep this role-based perspective in mind because the exam questions are frequently based on practical situations rather than isolated product features. And Microsoft certifications are designed around professional roles. PL-300, Power BI Data Analyst Associate exam focuses on the Power BI Data Analyst role. DP-600 focuses on the Fabric Analytics Engineer role, and DP-700 focuses on the Fabric Data Engineer role. Although these certifications are connected, they represent different responsibilities. PL-300 mainly covers using Power BI to transform data into actionable business insights, while DP600 and DP700 examine broader fabric analytics and engineering responsibilities. So when your main work involves semantic models, reports, dashboards, and business analysis in Power BI, PL-300 is usually the most appropriate certification to complete first. Okay. Now, PL-300 Power BI Data Analyst Associate exam is an intermediate level certification. A Power BI Data Analyst works with available data, applies business knowledge, and delivers actionable insights. And the analyst must provide meaningful business value through clear and understandable visualizations. The role also involves enabling self-service analytics so that users can explore trusted information independently. The main responsibilities are preparing data, modeling data, visualizing and analyzing data, and managing and securing Power BI. So two technical areas are particularly important: Power Query, which is used for data preparation, and data analysis expressions, or DAX, which is used for calculations and analysis. The PL-300 exam follows the same general workflow that analysts use in real projects: preparing data, modeling data, visualizing and analyzing data that each represent approximately 25 to 30% of the exam. And manage and securing section of Power BI PL-300 exam represents approximately 15 to 20%. So although the final area has a slightly lower weighting, it should not be ignored. Many exam questions are scenario-based. You may know how to create a report, but you must also understand how to publish, refresh, distribute, and secure it appropriately. A balanced preparation strategy should therefore cover all four areas.
So, Power BI is now an important part of the broader Microsoft Fabric's ecosystem. And Fabric is a unified data platform that brings together data engineering, data warehousing, data science, real-time intelligence, and business intelligence. So candidates for the PL-300 exam are not expected to become Fabric engineers, but they should understand the wider environment in which Power BI operates. For instance, this touches on things like security and administration. And in real organizations, Power BI analysts often consume data that are prepared by data engineers, connect through shared semantic models, and work with governed data products. And understanding this relationship helps you see Power BI as part of an end-to-end analytics platform rather than just that isolated reporting application. So at a high level, Power BI connects to many different data sources. Power BI Desktop normally uses connect, transform, model, and create reports. The Power BI service is used to publish, share, refresh, govern, and collaborate on Power BI content. Mobile applications allow users to consume content on phones and tablets. And Power BI Embedded can be used to integrate reports into custom applications. And for PL-300, understanding this complete flow, where data originates, where it is transformed and modeled, and where reports are created, and how the final content is delivered to users is the core of the certification. And think of PL-300 as a connected workflow rather than a collection of unrelated topics. So first we connected the files, the databases, the cloud services, or existing semantic models. Second, we shape the data by cleaning, transforming, and combining it. And third, we build a model using relationships, DAX calculations, and performance-aware design. And fourth, we create reports with appropriate visuals, filters, and accessibility features. And finally, we share and secure the solution using workspaces, applications, permissions, and security rules. Every stage affects the next stage. And poor data preparation makes modeling difficult, and a poor model makes reporting slower and more complicated. So the first major PL-300 skill area is preparing data. And in many real projects, this is where a considerable amount of work takes place. The objective is not simply to connect to a source and import everything that is available. The objective is to select the right data, improve its quality, and load only what is required for analysis. So exam questions in this area may cover connectors, credentials, data types, transformations, storage modes, privacy levels, and gateways. When considering the available answers, ask which option makes the data reliable, efficient, and ready for repeatable analysis. So data preparation begins with connecting intentionally. So select the correct connector for the data source, configure credentials and privacy levels, and determine whether an on-premises data gateway is required. Parameters can make reports more flexible by allowing analysts to change environments, server names, or filters without redesigning queries. You should then load the data thoughtfully. Select an appropriate storage mode, remove unnecessary rows and columns, validate data types, and reduce cardinality where possible. Do as much upstream and as close to the data source as possible, and just what you need to do further down. These decisions directly affect model size, refresh duration, query performance, and the long-term maintainability of the Power BI solution. Storage modes should be selected according to the scenario. So import mode normally provides the fastest report performance because the data is stored in the semantic model and in memory, although the model must be refreshed to receive new data. Direct query, however, sends the queries to the source, meaning that the source performance and network conditions become important. Dual mode can behave as either import or direct query, depending on the query, and is useful in composite models. Direct Lake is optimized for Fabric Lakehouse and warehouse scenarios, and they might or might not be the best fit for you. And in the exam, consider performance, freshness, transformation requirements, source limitations, and the overall Fabric architecture when you're looking at your different storage modes. Power Query is where the analysts transform messy source data into a reliable foundation for semantic model. Begin by profiling the data and reviewing column quality, distribution, and potential errors. Clean the data by correcting types, removing errors, handling blanks, promoting headers, and removing duplicates. And shape it by splitting, merging, pivoting, unpivoting, or aggregating columns. And queries can be combined by using merge or append operations. And keep the applied steps understandable so that the transformation process tells a clear story. Disable query load for helper queries that should not be included in the final semantic models.
So, after preparing the data, we move to the semantic model. And this is one of the most important areas in both PL-300 and real Power BI development. A well-designed model produces accurate calculations, faster reports, and reusable business logic. A poorly designed model frequently results in complicated DAX, ambiguous relationships, and performance problems. Before thinking about individual visuals, consider the model structure, fact tables, dimensional tables, relationships, date tables, calculated columns, and measures. And the semantic model is the foundation of which all report pages, visuals, and analytical experiences are built. So the purpose of the semantic model is to make business questions easy to answer. Use fact and dimensional table principles to create a clear structure. Explicitly configure relationships, table properties, column properties, and appropriate data categories. Add a common date table when the report requires time-based analysis. Business logic should normally be implemented through reusable measures. Understanding filter context is particularly important because it determines how measures respond to slicers, filters, and visual selections. So use also calculate deliberately when filter context must be modified. Many PL-300 modeling questions ask candidates to identify the cleanest and most maintainable approach. A good model removes ambiguity before users begin creating reports. Fact tables normally contain measurable events or transactions, such as sales, users records, or customer cases. Dimension tables contain descriptive information used for filtering and grouping, such as dates, products, employees, or customers. A dedicated date table standardizes time-based reporting and supports time intelligence calculations. In the exam, pay close attention to relationship cardinality, cross-filter direction, and active or inactive relationships. In practical projects, a well-designed star schema makes DAX easier to write, improves performance, and simplifies troubleshooting. Most DAX questions are fundamentally questions about context. Measures are calculations evaluated at query time and respond dynamically to filters and slicers. Calculated columns are evaluated by row and stored in the semantic model, which means they increase model size. Calculate is one of the most important DAX functions because it evaluates an expression within a modified filter context. Time intelligence patterns support calculations such as year to date, month to date, previous year, and period comparisons. For PL-300 Power BI Data Analyst Associate exam, do not focus only on memorizing functions. Focus on understanding why a calculation produces a particular result within a particular context. Also, performance should not be treated as a problem to address only after the report is complete. It involves design, measurement, and continuous improvement. Begin with a clean schema, appropriate granularity, and only the columns required for analysis. Use tools such as Performance Analyzer, the Optimize ribbon, and DAX Query View to investigate report, query, and calculation performance. They improve the solution by simplifying visuals, reducing cardinality, and reviewing expensive DAX expressions. In PL-300, understand which tool can help diagnose a specific performance problem. In real projects, model performance affects every report and every person who uses the solution. Next slide, please.
So once the semantic model is ready, it must be transformed into a report experience that users can understand, trust, and act upon. So this stage involves much more than just placing charts on the page. Effective reporting is a form of communication, storytelling. Good reports help users answer important questions quickly, direct attention to relevant information, and still allow meaningful exploration. So the PL-300 questions in this area may cover visual selection, formatting, filters and slicers, bookmarks, tooltips, accessibility, and analytical features. The central question should always be whether the report makes the required business decision easier. And the best visual is the one that makes the business questions easier to answer. So select visuals according to the analytical requirements, such as comparison, trend, ranking, distribution, or composition. Use titles, labels, and colors to clarify meaning rather than just simply decorate the page. And of course, remember that's accessibility part. Not everybody can see red and green, for instance. Avoid unnecessary visual elements and accidental emphasis. And slicers and filters should be added intentionally, and candidates should understand the difference between visual level, page level, and report level filters. Report page size and layout should also reflect the intended audience. An executive summary and a detailed analytical report generally require different approaches. Now, Power BI contains several tools for building guided experiences without preventing users from exploring data. Bookmarks can save report states and create navigation flows, presentations, or alternate views. Report page tooltips provide additional context without overcrowding the main page. Visual interactions determine how selecting one visual affects other visuals. Buttons can support navigation and make a report behave more like an application. And in PL-300, understand the difference between report navigation, visual interaction, and contextual details. In practical projects, use these tools carefully because highly complex bookmarks and navigation structures can become very difficult to maintain. Now, a report is not complete until the intended audience can use it effectively. So accessibility, as I mentioned also before, accessibility is therefore a core part of report design. Add meaningful alternative text to visuals that require explanation. Configure the tab order so that the keyboard navigation follows a logical sequence. Use sufficient contrast and avoid communicating important information through color alone. When users will access reports on phones, configure the mobile layout rather than relying on the desktop design. And page layout decisions should reflect how and where the audience consumes the report. Accessibility and usability are not optional finishing touches. They are professional design requirements. Now, Power BI includes analytical features that help users move beyond simply reading the charts. Exploratory analysis can identify trends, outliers, distributions, and relationships. Grouping, binning, and clustering can organize data into meaningful categories and reveal patterns that may not initially be obvious. Key influencers can help identify factors that affect a result, while the decomposition tree supports interactive root cause analysis. Forecasting, reference lines, anomaly detection, and error bars can provide additional context. And for PL-300, do understand which feature is appropriate for each analytical question and what information the feature is designed to reveal.
Sorry. Now about the final major skill area, managing and securing Power BI. And this is area where reports and semantic models become available at scale without losing control over access, trust, and data protection. Candidates sometimes concentrate heavily on data preparation, modeling, and visualization and leave this area until the end of their preparation. This is a mistake. In real organizations, publishing a refresh workspace roles, applications, permissions, role-level security, and sensitivity labels are essential. Exam questions in this area frequently ask which configuration best addresses a particular sharing, governance, and security requirement. Workspaces are collaborative containers in which Power BI content is created and managed. They can contain semantic models, reports, dashboards, data flows, and applications. Workspace setting settings control access, storage, and sharing, while licensing and capacity determine how the content can be distributed and consumed. Content can be published from Power BI Desktop and then maintained through the Power BI service. Candidates should understand the purpose of workspaces and the differences between the admin, member, contributor, and viewer roles. Workspace roles determine what users can create, modify, publish, or consume within the workspace. So, sharing Power BI content is not a single operation. The correct method depends on the audience and governance requirements. Direct sharing can be appropriate for specific individuals. Power BI apps provide a structured package of content for a broader audience. Embedding places Power BI reports inside other applications or websites. And subscriptions deliver report information on a schedule. Endorsement through promotion or certification helps users identify trusted semantic models and reports. Refresh settings and gateways ensure that information remains current. PL-300 exam questions often require candidates to select their distribution, endorsement, or refresh method that best matches a business scenario. Power BI security consists of several layers. Workspace roles control what users can do within a workspace. Item permissions control access to particular reports or dashboards. Build permission determines whether users can create new content from an existing semantic model, and role-level security filters the rows visible to a user or role. Also, sensitivity labels and export restrictions help protect information when it's downloaded or shared. A common exam mistake is attempting to solve every access problem by changing workspace roles. First, identify the security layer involved, and then select the configuration that directly addresses the requirement. So, about role-level security. Role-level security and data protection solve different problems. Role-level security controls which rows of data users can see after they have accessed a report or semantic model. It may use static roles or dynamic DAX patterns based on the signed-in user. However, role-level security does not replace workspace or item permissions. Users must first be given access to the relevant content. Sensitivity labels communicate and enforce expectations concerning how information should be handled. Export settings influence how data can leave Power BI. Always separate the question of who can open the content from the question of which data they can see.
Right. So the most effective way to prepare for PL-300 is to study each topic through practical scenarios. For data preparation, ask how should you connect? How should you clean, shape, and load the required data? And for modeling, ask how relationships and calculations should be structured. For visualization, ask how the report experience should be designed for the intended audience. And for management, ask how the content should be published, shared, refreshed, secured, and governed. When practicing questions, explain why the correct answer works and why the alternative answers do not. Project experience is essential because exam concepts become easier when they are connected through actual Power BI features. So, of course, the most beneficial is to get access to a trial if you do not have access to Power BI at work. And it's not just downloading the desktop, you need to have access to the Power BI service as well. So Some very common mistakes cause problems in real projects and reduce exam performance. So do not treat data preparation as a one-time import. Transformations should be repeatable during every refresh. And do not use complex DAX to compensate for an incorrect structured model. Avoid adding excessive visuals, colors, and interactions without a clear user journey. And do not share reports directly when an application, workspace role, or semantic model permission would be more appropriate. And finally, do not postpone accessibility and governance until the end. And the strong PL-300 decisions normally balance user requirements, model design, performance, maintainability, and security.
Let's quickly review the central concepts. When preparing data, clean it, shape it, assign the correct data types, and load only what is required. When modeling, use star schema principles and reusable DAX measures. When visualizing, prioritize clear communication, guided exploration, and accessibility. When analyzing, use Power BI's built-in analytical features to identify patterns and trends. When managing content, understand workspaces, applications, endorsement, and refresh. When securing content, distinguish between workspace roles, item access, module permissions, role-level security, and protection settings. Seeing these areas as one connected workflow makes PL-300 much easier to organize. Yes, PL-300 much easier to organize. Yes. Next slide, please.
Next slide, please.
So begin your exam preparation with official PL-300 study guide and Microsoft Learn modules. Then take the practice assessment to identify the objectives that require additional study. And most importantly, practice regularly in both Power BI Desktop and the Power BI service. Real product experience is essential to understand the scenario-based questions. And joining a study group can provide structure, accountability, and community support. And review all available preparation resources. And when you feel ready, request an exam voucher if you are eligible and schedule the exam. Consistent practice over time is much more effective than last-minute memorization. And remember, if you do request a voucher, sometimes it will take a little bit of time to get them. So do be patient, and the right place to ask for voucher questions will be in the Power BI forums. All right, so thank you so much for participating in this PL-300 concept session. And we have followed the complete Power BI Data Analyst workflow, connecting to and preparing data, creating an effective semantic model, visualizing and analyzing information, and managing and securing the final solution. And my final recommendation is to prepare through scenarios and connect every exam topic with a real business decision. And continue exploring the database resources, participate in study groups, practice in the product, and remain connected with the Power BI and Fabric community. We will now use the remaining time to answer any questions that might have popped up, as well as discussing the topics raised during the session.
In my turn also, I thank you for joining this session. I hope you find it valuable and useful in preparing for the actual exam. Best of luck with your certification journey.
So we got a question from Suja Janardahanis. Jahan. Is there a decision framework or best practice for choosing between Power Query transformations, calculated columns, and DAX measures when solving a business requirements? Well, in my opinion, the Roche maxim, which you can Google, ROCHE, is a very good way of approaching things. Do as much upstream as possible and only what is necessary downstream. So if you can handle things by creating a view or a store procedure or something else in the database, and then that's the best. Next up will be the transformation inside Power Query, and the next up there will be the semantic model, and then in the front end DAX. So the upstream is as close to the source as possible. So that's the best decision framework that you can get, in my opinion. Any comments, Ilgar?
No, thank you. I agree, fully agree with you. And there is one more question related to DAX Studio. I hope, Pluto RSA asking, where does DAX Studio sit in all of this? DAX Studio is just an external application that helps users to investigate DAX queries, model memory, and performance. So this is what I can share with you.
Yeah, it's a third-party tool, which is really helpful. There are several third-party tools that are helpful. Some of them are commercial and some are not. But do use it. It will give you some additional insight. However, it is not helpful for the exam.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions? Right, I see one more here. Microsoft is integrating more AI capabilities into Power BI. How do you see the role of a data analyst evolving beyond traditional dashboard development? What do you say, Ilgar?
I would prefer reading the question, but unfortunately, I don't see the question.
It's a bit further up. But so it's how do you see the role of a data analyst evolving beyond traditional dashboard development with the new AI capabilities?
Okay. What I can say, for example, 2 years ago, I was dealing with real projects where I was using Power BI as a tool, business intelligence tool. We were creating all the dashboards, reports by ourselves. But recently, a few months ago, I started using AI, which I found very useful, and it's very useful, and it helps you more to build the necessary reports and dashboards using Copilot. But here, as we were doing a few years ago in real projects, the main thing is dealing related to the best semantic model. I mean, if your data set is clear, very well structured, then using Copilot, you will get very good, reports. So, for example, after I started using Copilot, I loved it more, and I think it's good to use Copilot for building your reports. I'm not sure whether it's answer to a question or not, but yes, it helps more. But in any case, you need to clean your data, to structure your data very well, and in this case, Copilot will work perfectly.
Yeah, and to follow up on that, I mean, AI will enable us, I'm more of a back-end than a front-end guy, but it will enable data analysts to participate further down in the stack, so you can be more do more data engineering things that you typically would have to wait for data engineer to do, or it can help you also as a sparring partner for complex things or for visualization things. So it's just another tool, in my opinion, that can help you if you know what you're doing. But yeah, it's evolving so rapidly that answer might not be relevant in 6 months. I don't know. It's things are moving fast. I had one follow-up question on the DAX Studio thing, and it's why is it favored in some markets but not others? And personally, I haven't seen it as much as a market thing. I think it's more on the lines of DAX Studio was the first of these DAX analyzers that came out. And I think that has something to do with it. But I'm not sure if you have any other comments on that, Ilga, on the DAX Studio thing.
Once again, as I mentioned earlier, DAX Studio is free of charge, external tool. You can use it just only for, let me tell you, for your, optimizing your DAX queries, optimizing your DAX formulas. So Maybe from this point of view, it's very famous. But yeah, it helps you just to optimize your DAX formulas, so DAX queries. So this is my answer. So this is what I can share with the person who asks this question. Also, I think there are other external tools. Just taking it an opportunity, I would like to tell, which is Tabular Editor. Tabular Editor is a semantic model development tool. And also we have Bravo for Power BI. Actually, I have not used Bravo for Power BI. So this is another external tool that users can use. So that's it.
So there's one question there. I do not have an answer for this. Maybe you do. We create a report using bookmarks with mobile edit. Then hide and unhide functionality doesn't work. So if you create a report using the bookmarks in mobile edit, hide and unhide functionality doesn't work properly.
Yeah, go on, please. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah, and is there any workaround for this? Do you know?
I have applied both bookmarks. I think it works very well. Most probably, I think the question who asks this question, that person, maybe there is something. I'm sorry for my words. He is using wrongly related to selection process or not, but. Bookmark is working smoothly, perfectly. So just pay attention when you select the items that you want to display or not. Also, I would like to recommend to use field parameters instead of bookmarks. It's my preference. So because field parameters are working more smoothly than bookmarks. But in any case, when you are working with bookmarks, just pay attention to selection points. When you selection, just pay attention that when you select something, object that you want to display, be sure that it's displayed. So this is the point. And also pay attention when you are going to use action. For example, after selection process, there is also action. So you have to assign some action. So it's also the important part. So if you pay attention, if you are sure that everything is done correctly, in this case, bookmarking will be working perfectly. So, and also in one of the models of PL-300, this is in fourth module, so-called visualization module of PL-300. There is lab, so called predictive analytics, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this is the name of lab. For 45 minutes, you can use this lab just to be sure that bookmarking is working perfectly. So, yes.
All right. Then there was a question about brief comparison between paginated reports and interactive reports. And in my opinion, paginated reports are the printable reports where people want to have a PDF or an A4 paper that they want, or letter for US, that they want to carry around or read. Whereas an interactive report is for designed for the screen to consume on screens, but it's not really good for printing or for that kind of PDF approach.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
you agree as well?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, paginated reports for using just to print your reports. Yeah, I agree with you. It's correct.
It's what all the guys used in reporting services back in the days. So there was also a question about is the practice exams comparable to the actual exam? It's been such a long time since I did any of the practice exams, so I'm not quite sure.
So if here is meant using practical assessment question that can be found on Microsoft Learn. So what I would say, mainly DAX-related questions can be found in a real exam. This is what I can say. So almost, yeah. So in my opinion, it's 60-65%. Yes, types of question can be found in real exam.
Then we have, so organizations adopt Copilot, Fabric, and Power BI together. What skills do you think will differentiate a data analyst from someone who only knows, well, it's stopped there for the copy, but if from knows some of it? That was a bit difficult to answer, but I think it's what skill levels or what skills are needed from the data analyst? I think that is the core of the question.
Okay. I'm not sure that I understand the question correctly, but what I can say, for example, before Fabric, once again, we were using other tools just to extract data from different data sources like SAP or Dynamics 365, for example, using Azure Synapse, so on and so forth. But after just companies started using Fabric, so all can be found in one place. So just using data engineering workload of Fabric, you can extract all the necessary data, and then using Power BI that is in the same platform, you can build the necessary, reports or dashboards as to to answer to the business questions. So, and Copilot actually is in every Microsoft technology that helps you to, to make your life easier. So it's, to be honest, the question that says Copilot, Fabric, and Power BI together, what skills you think will differentiate a data analyst? Actually, today's data analyst should have the necessary skills that make him to be able to work with Power BI. Actually, Power BI is one part of Fabric. So I'm not sure that I understand the question correctly, but that was my answer. My opinion that I shared with you.
Yeah, I think to follow up on that, an important part of being a data analyst when you're interacting or you're creating Power BI reports where you have Copilot. Copilot needs to understand the context. So having a simple semantic model, so pure star schema, not too many dimensions. So rather instead, I see many people have one gigantic semantic model, having several smaller ones instead, and having clear naming conventions that are closer to business wording rather than any complex data engineering names, help the Copilot understanding your models and understanding the underlying data. So that competency, that understanding is important when you're designing reports for Power BI, for Copilot.
Yes.
Next question is object level security. Is that actually secure? Because page level security isn't secure and it's just a page masking dynamically. Object level, in my opinion, object level will be either access to the table or to a schema or to a Power BI report. Not sure if it's object level, anything about outside of that. What do you think, Ilgar?
This is a really very good point, and very, to be honest, I have not used applied this object level security, but I have applied row level security. So I'm sorry that I will not be able to comment on this.
I think with the advent of Fabric or one-leg security, the object level will be even more important because it means that you can give access to a data object, so say a table or a set of tables inside a lakehouse without having access on the workspace level is helpful, and it is secure. It is definitely a security feature. So yes, as long as we define the object level as a schema or a table or a file or one of the artifacts in Fabric or Power BI, then object level security is actually secure. Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're actually on time now, so we probably need to stop.
Last question. Okay.
Yep.
It says that may I ask whether you think AI can replace Power BI in the future. What would you answer to this question, Johan?
Well, it depends on how far in the future we're talking. But if you want repeatable answers that is well governed and secured, not for the next year at least. Maybe later on, but it's so hard to say. But for now, at least in the foreseeable future, I don't think so.
Yeah. Interesting question. Okay.
I guess with that, we can say thank you very much, everyone. And good luck on the exam.
Yeah. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining, and thank you to our speakers. Here at the Reactor, we are always look to improve your experience. So if you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can find the link to our survey on the screen or in the chat. And with that, we'll see you on the next one.